refocusing. So give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And as always, ring that bell so you know when the new podcasts come out. We love you. Check out this show. Welcome to the Renewing the Mind podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Sanchez. Joined with me, as always, my dad, Dr. Raul Sanchez. How you doing, Dad?
I'm feeling amazing. Like back in the day at NDSU, we had a saying, those who play will stay. Those who stay will be champions. Once a champion, always a champion. Let's go, baby.
And there's the ring kiss. On
All
this
day.
podcast, we teach you how to renew your perspective, move towards uncertainty, and find what's awesome about that in every situation. And today we are talking about refocus.
Yes.
So we are officially 2 months into the new year. And if you're like me, you had a lot of motivation, January, and then it probably died off a little bit in February. And then now we're trying to figure out, where we're at, what we're doing. And this is not, I'm not speaking from a place of like, hey, listen to me. I'm on this joker trying to figure out how do I get back on the horse after falling off it. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So I just titled it Refocus, because it's kind of, that's what needs to happen, right? You got to refocus, find your why, figure out what you're doing, kind of have that.
Correct.
Everyone was super focused in January, and now we're kind of like, the excitement, the momentum stopped. And so that's kind of what we're talking about, restart, refocus, get back on the horse, get back on track. If you're on track and you're going, man, it never hurts to refocus and to realign, your thoughts and what you're doing and why you're doing them. And if you're like me and, what I'm saying, you may be like not doing what you were doing in January, then this is for us. So that kind of kicks it off. You want to hop into maybe a little bit of what you want to talk about?
So the concept of help, I'm stuck. How do I refocus on my goals? That's what we're talking about today. And that's everybody at any point in time. So just for the sake of just definition. So stuck, like frozen, fixed, like trapped. And then the big one is I'm not moving or I'm not going anywhere. So this is a person who's still putting in work. And in the beginning, you put in work and you see a lot of gains. And so there's a lot of dopamine, a lot of motivation, a lot of pictures, a lot of excitement. You got self-rewards, you're going off. And then now you're still doing the work and the work dies down. And then there's two issues. One, I don't have the intense focus on my work. And number two, I don't have the gains or the rewards. And so just personally talking to Ty, us being, father, son, I'll say, hey, what's working for you? Because always dial in the recipe. Because if you throw together a recipe and you have no idea what you put in it, you can't replicate it. So Tyler typically will say, dude, my gains are coming. Or he's like, results. And that's everybody. Everybody flies when you got results. And then it all shakes down into a war with self when there's no results. So how do you keep getting up? How do you keep working? How do you keep grinding when you're not seeing the results? The number one word is neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity. So this is a word that's been around for a couple of decades. I've been, I purchased a program, bought licensing, and I teach a neuroplasticity program at the office since I bought into that program in 2004, started teaching in 2006. And it's been a process of our family, what we do and how you reboot. But that's what we're going to be going through today. And you don't have to do a brain program. You can, but I'm going to break down what you can do behaviorally today. So neuroplasticity is the ability for your neurons to stretch, kind of break down and grow, and then recruit more neuronal networks, or like basically more people to start a new pathway. And that pathway can be a solo pathway, like a one-time thing, like learn how to cut with a knife or something, or it could be a pathway to like learn how to lose weight, which takes a lot of different pathways. So it could spring one road, or it can spring a whole like clover leaf, like in the brain, as far as like neural networks. So that's called neuroplasticity. And plasticity is the idea of like hot plastic. So it stretches, you can mold it, you can meld it, almost like dealing with slime, and then you like cook it and then it gets hard. So that's what we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about 3 steps. The first step, I'll just give you the steps and I'll break it down. So number 1 is recognition. Number 2 is intense attention. Number 1, recognition. Number 2, intense attention. And then that intense intention breaks down into 2 pieces. And then number 3 is basically behavior. So let's start with recognition. Number 1. So the first thing you have to do is you recognize the problem. And that is inherently where everybody falls. So Okay, everyone has a goal. You're taking off. You got rewards. You got goals. You got progress. Everyone's jacked. And then all of a sudden you fall down a plateau and you're stuck. Then we break down into two types of people. One type of people just got decided, like, you know what? I'm just not going to post. I'll figure it out later. So they procrastinate it. They don't look at it. The second type of people ask somebody, or they go back in a journal, take a look at notes, and you're going to ask this major question: where did I fall? Where did I fall? And then that recognition of the problem is the key to the beginning. We say this all the time, and I'll say it until you have it memorized, like your middle name. But the concept is, you don't know what you don't know, but once you know, you cannot unknow. Now, this is what's really cool. Let's say last year I tried and failed. This year I'm going to try, and let's say I fail again. The actual level up process is if I fail a different way today. If I fail a different way this year, now I've got two ways where I've problem solved or troubleshooted failure. So now when we say love the process, master the process, enjoy the process gives you all those abilities to work through a failure. So I would never like to have a one trial win, because then I don't know how to beat failure. I'd rather climb the hard road. I know that sounds weird, but because after the hard road and I get success, I can transfer all those failed processes into any other technique in life. I'll learn how to juggle. I can learn how to do this. I can learn how to ride a unicycle. It doesn't matter, because I have the process now. So that's what we talk about. So your biggest issue is identifying or recognizing the problem. Okay. Now, once you've identified the problem, okay, now you have to state out loud, like, hey, Tyler, help me fix this problem. Like, I recognize now my issue is snooze. Okay. And so now you talk to somebody and you're going to problem shoot an awareness of snooze. And so now we're going to go into that one. Okay. So now number 2, intense attention. Intense attention. So think about this. Your brain does, let's just even say, 1,000 decisions a day. How does your brain know? Like, if I decide to ride my bike, as my training bike, my cycling bike at home, how does my brain know that I'm trying to PR there? It has no idea. How does it know, like, when I'm making a pancake, that's just a daily routine? How do I know when I'm driving to the office, like, I'm really learning how to drive and be more aware of, like, defensive driving? The brain has no idea to know what's automated and what's something you're new learning, unless, of course, you add intensity. Okay. Intensity is a number one way where our brain calls the two primary neurotransmitters that signals, let's go. Like, hey, this is business. Like, hey, dude, this ain't no pickup game. This is Sunday. Okay. So the first one is epinephrine. Epinephrine. Stacy will post it in the chat. Epinephrine is number 1.
Yeah, she's
And
jotting
then,
them down.
okay, perfect. And then number 2 is acetylcholine. Okay. So epinephrine.
Google that one, because I don't know how to spell it.
I gave it to Stace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Stacy will post it. Okay, so those are the 2 neurotransmitters. So just check this out. Epinephrine is the same thing as adrenaline. One's kicked out in the brain, epinephrine, and then adrenaline's kicked out in the kidneys. That's basically like if somebody comes up to you and pushes you and then starts to swing at you or something. There's 2 seconds of life or death, and then adrenaline hits, and then you're go. Or, you know, you're walking your kid at a park and you hear a big dog. Like, you can tell, like, little yipping dog and then like a big dog, like a Doberman. Like, there's 2 seconds and boom, adrenaline hits. Okay. So that's intense focus. That's intensity of attention. Does that make sense? So now I have arousal. Boom. I have alertness. Boom. And now I'm ready to go. Now my brain, after 1,000 signals a day, has this big thing that says, hey, pay attention. This is big. This is deep. Okay. So we always, like, laugh and pound our chest, and we talk about basketball. You're dribbling the basketball and you're like, 3, 2, 1, shoot. Oh, dang. Okay. Redo. 3, 2, 1, lay it. Okay.
Right,
wait.
right.
Okay. Because we're all trying to mimic that intense focus, that intense attention, because that's when the brain learns. Okay.
So how do you make that happen, though?
How do you make adrenaline happen?
Well, yeah. How do you make that intensity? You just start telling
Okay.
yourself,
Yeah.
this
So
is going to be intense, or I
do
mean,
you
like,
remember? Do you remember one of my best motivators? I go to college football locker room, right? They go to their YouTubes and watch a dude try to squat, and watch
so
16,
before
25
you,
dudes.
so to get motivated, you just start listening to, just watching people do, like, you just got to find something to force you to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Or, like, when I'm really motivated to do something, you see me drop and do push-ups all the time. Why? Because you're like, hey, your brain's saying, like, let's go. Like, it's time. You guys laugh sometimes when I do push-ups. It's not because I'm 50. It's because, like, let's go. I want my brain to be fire. I want my brain to remember this moment.
Okay.
So
So
throughout
So
your intensity a day, you got to have something that says, boom, this is big. And then you kind of settle it back down the rest of the day.
okay, so let's say that in my head, and I'm obviously just thinking like of other scenarios. So
Yeah.
that in my head makes sense if I'm about to ride my bike, if I'm about to work out. But let's say something that I want to change or refocus on is, finances, or other struggles than just working out. Am I about to just like, you know, turn on some ACDC and start bopping out some push-ups to save money? Or, like, how do
Yes.
you,
Yes. So
what's the
you know how
intensity?
boring. Okay. This is just me, and I'm sorry
Or
for
like
being
writing, like writing or being
yes,
creative, like all that stuff. I'm just gonna start being
super
like,
boring.
just going,
Yeah. That's one way. Yes. You have to kind of get
okay.
visual attention to spark so that you know, like, this is a big, you're signaling to your brain, hey, recognize this moment. Okay. So, yeah. So, like, if you're going to a tax meeting, yes, you can listen to hype videos as you get in there because your brain is alert. You can listen to like some kind of like, weight room playlist to go in there. I know it seems really weird. Like, okay, so I'm going to go with Headbanger, ACDC, like, Teen Spirit, whatever, just go rock my, and then I'm going to go sit down and have an accounting meeting. Yeah. Cause otherwise you'll be in there just like, huh? What?
No, that makes sense though, because like we all have something to kind of get us, a little bit of fired up.
Yes.
But
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Correct.
But that reminds me, this is off topic, but remember, there's like 5 to 10 big fights in our life that I remember between me and you and me and mom and us all together. But
Okay.
one of them, do you remember when I was in fourth grade and we were heading to a soccer tournament, and we were driving in the car and dad was like, yeah, let's get pumped up, to go play soccer, and he was blaring some Christian music. And
Yes.
I said, dude, this Christmas music, because it sounded like Christmas music, can't get me pumped up. And this man thought I said Christian music, went off on a whole sermon on salvation and how Jesus dying on the cross needs to get you pumped up. And the whole time I said Christmas music.
And tell me Kirk Franklin can't motivate you to have a killer soccer game.
I mean, Kurt Franklin can, but like
Yeah. Okay.
not Natalie Grant's Christmas album.
Shout out to
Okay.
mom's playlist.
All right, mom asked the question, what other ways?
Okay. So then the other way is like, so take a look at this. So we're talking about alertness now. So how do I, and it could be anything. So if I'm trying to write my book, if I'm trying to learn how to cook recipes, if I'm trying to do something that quote, I suck at, like I'm trying to boost up an area in my life that like I continue to fail. And so I punt it every year. I don't want to do it. I have to signal to my brain alertness. However it gets done to you, that's how you want to signal alertness. So one way is like hype videos, pump videos, push-ups, excitement, so you can get your body alert. Another way is very simple. The number one medical mimic of ADD, which is slow cognitive processing, like you just can't get alert, is sleep deprivation. So if your sleep is off, so we just got some smart watches for Christmas, and we start to monitor our sleep. It's pretty crazy to see how many times I move or how many times I get up, how many times my body thinks I'm not sleeping. And then it's really crazy right before I wake up when I start to think about my morning, but I make myself stay asleep. That's actually in deep sleep. It's crazy to me how I can kind of dream state. So it's interesting. So that'll be another whole talk about the brain and sleep. But number one way you can actually get up and be alert is sleep. Okay. Now, a number two way, and we all do it, is stimulants. So you can wake up and have green tea. You can wake up and have caffeine. You can, go through and get your oat milk, hazelnut double shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then
Had one today.
yeah. And that's why our brain likes it so much, is because we're alert. So now if you sit here and just like you drink that every single day, let's say, okay, every single day, let's say I have that same shot, double shot, oat milk, hazelnut every day. And then all of a sudden I'm supposed to go work on a book. I can't use my same thing now because my level is here. And now I've leveled up every day on this stimulant drink. That's why it doesn't work anymore. That's why
Mm.
you have to pay attention to what you do every day, because if it's a big day or a big moment, you have to have the brain have alertness to say, this is big. And this is why athletes lock down a game day routine that's tight. Just working with the state champ, wrestler, and working with some other state champions, it's crazy to me how we build a 24-hour clock around that game day. And then so when I talk to them at post championship, whatever, they just laugh and they're like, dude, it's so unreal. Like, it's just surreal. Like, I can't, like, it's just how we mapped it in the head. It's just what we thought. It's just what we said. It's pretty crazy because the brain knows that a big day is coming. And then in the big day, it's not that big. Now, if I plan like this every single day and I have a big moment, like let's say I'm trying to work out and I'm using weights, and let's say I only do cardio. Well, if I don't make myself alert and I don't get myself aroused, then I can't PR. I can't do it. And then if I do it, my body and brain are going at it like I don't want to do it. So now when I
Okay.
leave, my brain's not looking at why it was good. My brain's saying, here's the 4 reasons why you shouldn't do this anymore, because that's what I'm programming. But instead, if I'm like, hey, this sucks, but I know it's good for me. Hey, this stinks, but I know muscles are the longevity organ of life. The more muscles you carry, the longer you live. And so, like
Okay.
those principles are really, really important to get your brain motivated to throw alertness. Number 3.
Hold on. Before you move forward, couple
Okay.
comments. Mom said, would watching other success stories work? I think that's a yeah. That's what when you talk about watching people lift weights,
Yep.
that gets you motivated.
Especially if they get hype. And one of your things to watch is when you watch a video and when they hit hard, like, hey, they did it, they chest bump or they get excited. If you got goosebumps or you feel motivated in your stomach, you won't feel like excited mentally. It'll be a physical body thing. You'll feel it. Like I can feel like goosebumps. The hairs on my neck kind of get excited. It's weird, but that's just what happens. So yes.
Yep. And then just lost my chat or the
Okay. I
comments.
don't I don't have mine up. So
Hold on, I'll just refresh it.
okay.
They're gone.
And then if I do it,
Okay. Whoa, I lost everything.
okay.
All right, well, it comes back. Alicia
Okay.
basically,
So we'll go
I'll
back.
paraphrase Alicia's. It basically just said, she talks to herself. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Um, she said simply talking to myself out loud, telling myself I can do this, whatever that may be, helps me. Obviously, when no one is around, of course.
Yeah,
But
so that goes into the very first step, recognition.
yep,
She's recognizing it and she's announcing that, hey, this is super important to me.
yep,
So yes,
yep.
that works too.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And then Dan said white monsters in the AM are fire. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we got recognition, and then number 2 is we got intense attention, and under there we have epinephrine, which is arousal, and then we have neurostimulant, right, with coffee, tea, and then the third one in that section, number 2, is public accountability. So when we do our resilient men's conference, we talk about high challenge resilience. High challenge is, hey Tyler, I'm going to set this goal, right? Hey Dan, I'm going to set this goal. And I want you two to check in on me every single Thursday and just ask, are you continuing on your climb? Are you on it? Yes. And then I'll post every Sunday. I'll send you to my stuff. It's not accountability as in like, because see what happens with accountability is like, if you're my accountability man, I'm embarrassed to talk to you because now like for some reason I've elevated you to a dad status. And now it's like kind of hard to come to your dad and say, hey, I failed. We want to keep it as just like partners, like bros. Like that's why we call it climbing buddies. Okay. Now, if I do a goal and I'm private, I'm quiet, nobody knows, we call that low challenge. It still is a challenge, by the way, because I'm challenging myself. But the problem is no one else knows. So when I hit this stuck wall that we're talking about right now, there's no way out because nobody knew I started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So let me talk personally. So Alex Pick, who's in here, and then Isaiah Mead, we text each other each morning, like a little check mark or like a done or completed or did it, just something real simple.
Correct.
And sometimes that's as far as it goes. Other times it's like, yeah, I rode the bike for a half hour or, did the rower for 15 minutes or whatever it is. But your boy over here has fell off for like 3 weeks of working out. So I just see the text come through every day and I'm just like, oh yeah, didn't do it. Oh yeah. Next day, tomorrow. So that's where I'm at with all of that. I
Okay.
know I know step one. I've been recognized it.
Okay.
Uh, intense attention is lacking, or I haven't put enough attention to get me over that hump to start. You know, it's kind of like pushing a car that's out of gas. It takes way more energy to get it moving than it does once it's moving. Now the car's completely stopped and I'm on a little slope uphill and I just can't get that joker rolling at all.
Yeah. So this is where Jerry Rice comes in. Jerry Rice
And
says,
and Alex is trying to do it. He's
yeah,
sending me the same text. At least he is on me. I'm just
yep.
at a place where I'm like, the only thing I can come up with is like, I just have to suck it up and do it.
So Jerry Rice says, how can you not give 100%
Oh,
effort
my
when,
camera went out. Continue.
oh, how can you not give 100% effort when effort is 100% up to you? This now becomes an effort game. And as you know, on a climb, like it's fun at first. You got adrenaline at first. You got everybody laughing and cheering at first. Like I would tell you, like that's the marathon. You know, we're trying to run that half or trying to run a 5K. Everyone's at the gate, and then you come around a corner and it's just like crickets, and you got bugs on you, getting beaten by mosquitoes. You're sweaty. You're thirsty. You don't have a water bottle. There's no water table around. Like now, it's just grind. It's just how deep can you go? And this is where Jerry Rice is genius. He says, how can you not give 100% effort when 100% of the effort is up to you? That's what it comes down to. Now, to help you out on that accountability grind, you can pair emotions with that. So some people are love focused. So like, hey, what do I get when I get done here? So like Licia says, hey, I'll take you on a date night. So you can do it that way. The other way, you could do it achievement oriented. So like you and Alex and Dan or something, hey, when I get done here, we're going to Crave and I'm ordering 2 sushi rolls. So you can put that out there, set the date, set a timeline, go after it. That's called the climb goal. You want to get up to the top of that. And some people are fear or anger motivated, and that'd be more like me. So like the ability to prove people wrong, or if somebody says you can't do that, like there's something inside of me that says, watch me. And that's a deep motivator. So I would be more of like an anger motivator. So I motivate through that channel of adrenaline. And that's just where I've come from, really just growing up and having nobody else to push me and nobody cheering me on. If I had a bunch of cheerleaders, I'd be wired differently. But my wiring is like, if you tell me I can't, or if I challenge myself, like, dude, you're too old. So I don't say, hey, Sanchez, you can do it. I say, bro, you're 50. You got bad knees. You got cartilage that's missing. Like, you've got bone chips in your ankle. Like, you going to do this? And that, for some reason, motivates me.
Watch TV with a blanket.
Bruh, that's 2021 pandemic. Like I got a hoodie on right now. Something's happening.
Alicia texted me she's going to bed, but then she keeps hopping in the chat with
That's
some
because
daggers.
you know why? Okay, tell me what step just happened. What just happened to Alicia?
She just got fired up.
Yeah,
She can't go to bed.
She
So
got
I've
some
been telling
adrenaline.
him.
Jillian got some adrenaline.
She said maybe not a food reward for Tyler. That's facts.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Maybe we could go watch the sunset.
Yeah. So, okay, just as you saw, we were preparing for the thing.
She said I like that, but pair it with an emotion to motivate.
Yeah, correct. So my daughter Valencia just came down while we were preparing for this, and she's working on a back handspring. And the last 2 times at a meet, she's had to coach had to run out and put a hand out there, and it's just really not even helping her, but it's just more the peace of mind. And so she came downstairs, and she must have hit it tonight in practice. And she says, "Dad, if I hit this tomorrow in practice again, like what do I get?" And I said, "A date night with me." And she goes, So then I go,
not worth it.
Yeah, see, it didn't do it. So then I was like, okay, you can have one friend sleep over. And she just started jumping up and down. And I heard her run upstairs. And then Stacy's like, no, that's too much work for me. Tell your daddy has to talk to me. So she comes back downstairs. I'm like, okay. So then I fist bumped her and I said, if you landed in the meet on Saturday, it's a sleepover. So she went upstairs. Yeah. And then Tyler heard it because she was like breakdancing upstairs.
Yeah, she was screaming.
So listen, that's exactly what happened. So now that she needs some accountability, I'm the accountability person, but it's not me as the accountability, like dad's going to get on you. It's I'm holding a reward out in front of her. And now that I know that she's going to do it, now it's a high challenge. So maybe next time we circle back, we'll say if she did it or not.
Cool. So set some goal. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the 3 pieces of arousal. Okay. So you've got sleep, you have a neurostimulant, and then you have the high challenge accountability, which we also pair with a strong emotion. Mom would be love. Tyler would be like a brotherly love kind of a thing, right? Mine would be more anger reward of like, I can bust through it. I just proved it. I proved him wrong. Like nobody's even wrong. Like this is like so you get mad at me sometimes when I say I'm like Jordan, but only in this one way.
Nah.
Like with Jordan motivated because he'd create a story in his head that somebody hates me. And then he would just go dunk on that dude to prove
I've seen your jump shot. It's far from Jordan.
Okay. Hey, where's Chase? I need Chase Fowler. I need Chase.
He's not here.
I need Garrett.
He's in the ice storm of Texas.
Ask them what happened next time old man stepped up on the court.
Third thing, behavior.
Yep, you better change the
behavior.
Subject. Okay, behavior. Now the behavior goes to what Alicia is talking about. And when we talk about behavior, we always fall back on self-talk. Because when it's just you versus you, there's no excuses. And unfortunately, only you know all of your failures. I might know a failure that you told me about, but only you know all your failures. So you have to be the person to focus on the failure side of that. And that intense focus of visualization training is where the behavior changes. So think about this for a second. Um, and this is where acetylcholine comes in. So let's talk about acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the ability to use what we call signal detection. So if I'm focusing on something and I hear my dog bark, that instantly steals my attention. Or if the garage comes open or a car honks outside, or like, when I'm up writing, 5 a.m., the dump truck comes and takes all the garbage. It's super loud. So if you have acetylcholine in, what it does is there's a bunch of signals that the brain pays attention to, and it'll actually mute all the signals, and it keeps your target signal very high. So what happens with that is there's an ability to increase your target stimulus simultaneously while decreasing all the other stimuli. Okay. Yep. Now, how you do that is it's signaled by the eyes. So when we talk about the girls, Stella and Eliza, they're watching TV, you can walk in front of them and go like this, and they're literally just like Cocomelon coma, right? Yep. Okay, so we call that tunnel vision. So what happens is acetylcholine is dropping down from the brain, and it puts this cone. So like out here, like your cool lenses that you have, Ty, like some of this stuff is super blurry, but only that portrait face is zoomed in. That's the intense focus. Yeah. So when that happens, yeah, exactly. Listen, when that happens, we signal to the brain, that's the thing. That's the thing that I want you to focus on. Forget everything else. That thing right there. And so when we put our eyes on an intense focus, I want you to think about how the brain learns then. Now, if you're like, okay, you and I talk about those green Tundra trucks, whatever, as you're driving and you just see like a black Tundra and you're like, oh, that's dope. And then you see that green Tundra, you're like, bruh,
slow down, at you. Turn where they turn.
Yeah. So what you focus on, okay, with visual attention is attention. When somebody says, oh, I'm paying attention, and they're multitasking, they're done. They're toast. If you're trying to write and read, or if you're trying to listen to music with lyrics and read or write, you're done. That's why lo-fi beats comes in. That's where, Paul comes in with his jazz. Okay. Because if you just listen to music that slows down the outside peripherals, and then you can zoom in visually on the targets that you want, now we signal to the brain intense attention, because attention, or I'd say it this way, focus always follows your visual attention. You can't have focus without your visual attention. Now, watch this. If somebody's trying to focus auditorily, they'll typically close their eyes because they visualize what they're trying to pay attention to, because they need their eyes. Right? Yeah. So like if you're watching TV, ESPN, and Alicia is talking to you, you might just be like, huh? Because like you want to close your eyes so you can focus on the auditory, because you're picturing her in the room actually. So you stimulated your visual cortex to understand what you're focusing on.
Well, that's why you tell people to close your eyes when you pray, right?
Yes, because you can see it. And so
there's no other distractions.
Yes. So what you see, you actually can be. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And this is why you have to visualize, Ty. And this is, you guys make fun of me, but back in the day when I was really big, I used to buy these motivational outfits and hang them up in my closet.
Used to? I think Tave and you just did it last weekend.
Okay, so I bought a shirt that's large. And I'm like, it's a little tight. So I got
look like a baby medium.
But it still works. It still works. But okay, talk about struggles. That 1 year I bought this outfit, it literally took me 2 years to fit into it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I told Stacy like 90 days, give me a 90-day challenge. I did 90-day challenge and work. Another 90 day, another. And so sometimes you set a goal that's too steep, or sometimes you set it too low, and then you're like, get your one goal, and then you're like, oh, cool, I'm done. And then you fall back.
All right. So here, let's finish with this idea.
Okay.
So that's all cool. But like, I'm here to just debunk all of that, because I got like 9 shirts with tags on them in my closet. I saw the early success of losing weight. Christmas bumped us off, got back a little bit January, bumped them off. And so I know I need to change. I can play music, but I'm not. My sleep is decent. I do drink some stimulants. I haven't really done the emotional piece, like doing a movie night or something if I hit my goals. And my behavior and my focus, which you just went over, is there, but not enough to motivate me to do anything. I just keep pushing it off because I don't want to do the hard work. So at the base of it, is it just like Jerry Rice said, like you just have to give effort at some point? All of that is cool, but at the end of the day, if you're not willing to work hard, what's it matter?
So okay, let's say you've done all these three steps.
I'm literally, this is me right now. So I'm not like coming up with this or
So let's just say you did all these three steps. It still comes down to two primary issues. The first issue is, I would tell you, it's not as important as you think it is. It's not important to you. You act like it is, you say it is, but it's not actually you. It might be your wife's goal for you. It might be your mom's goal for you.
The getting healthy is not that important, or losing weight. That's what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. It's not, because you let things come in the way. So to be honest with you, like, that's me with my book.
Yeah. So it's not as high a priority as it should be.
It's on the top. My book's on the top 5, but it's definitely not number 1, because like clients are number 1. You know, my reports to doctors and doctors' offices to help kids, like that's number 2, like my family. So the book's there, but it's taken 2 years because it's never been number 1. So I would tell you, like, to be honest with yourself. So when you have that recognition, like, okay, I'm being honest, this is Tyler versus Tyler time. Like, okay, the weight loss thing, the getting healthy
I'll
thing,
one up you right now. I already know
4.
I already know it's not there.
Okay. So that's where you got to be honest with yourself, because then it comes down to not this process that we just walked through, because it's more of an internal process of one of two things. The first option here, now you say, okay, it's not as important to me as I think it is. Number 1. All right. Now 1A is this. What is stealing my mental effort that's draining me so that I can't put the effort on the book? So for me, I know for a fact. So we talked about this. So we're not taking new patients because we're so far booked out. I'm also taking every other Friday off so I can catch up on my reports, get my office in order, so that then I can actually spend every single Friday on my book. So I'm in that process of taking away what I call mental thieves. What are your mental thieves? What's stealing your mental energy game? So you can arouse all day, you can work out all day, you can do whatever. Then you sit at your desk to do your book, and you see these reports that got to get out. Like, there's no way I can work on my book. Doctors are waiting on this stuff, so I got to go. So what's stealing your mental energy? Okay.
Yep.
The next one, the second one you want to understand is this, and this gets a little deeper, which is, how come I don't deserve it? How come I don't deserve it? And that's what we call a self-limiting belief. A self-limiting belief is like, it's not going to matter anyway. When I put on that outfit that I've been waiting to put on, it's not going to matter. When I write my book and somebody says, hey, this is amazing, it's not going to matter. When I fit into that large, I haven't fit into large in 4 years, like, it's not going to matter. That's what happens. And so that comes down to the self-limiting belief of, why do I think I don't deserve it? Now that hits home, right?
Sure. Mine is well, Alicia's coming up from the nightly sleep. That lady went to bed 39 minutes ago. She said, you have
hey, this is a good show if you keep Alicia up.
She texted me, good night, baby. I love you. Have a great podcast. Then she just keeps hopping in the comments. She said, y'all poked the bear. She said, you haven't found your right why yet.
Yes.
See, but here's where I'm at. Cool. I got it all. I do believe there's probably some things that are stealing my mental energy. There's some inefficiencies in my, first of all, the way I eat, it's fell off. So because I don't eat right, I don't have energy. I stay up, all that stuff. Not getting up in the morning, not sleeping well. And the self-belief is there. The thing that the self-belief, let me start over. The self-belief that I struggle with is not, I don't deserve it. Mine is, do you know how long I'll have to do that before I get to where I want to go?
Gotcha.
So
that's a self-limiting.
Someone has to lose 7 pounds. They could go hard for a month or two. Bro, I got to go hard for like a year and a half. You get what I'm saying? To be where I want to be, not to see gains. And I know small wins, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, what is going through my head is, dude, it's a 2 year, a year and a half, a full year, an 8 month. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But here's what I want you to understand.
I mean, we've had these conversations for,
but here's what I want you to focus on, because that's really big, because that's a lot of people who have got a lot of weight. That's a lot of people who've got like a big dream, like a book. There's a lot of people who've got big dreams. And the problem
this doesn't have to be weight. That's a 2 year climb for anything.
Yeah,
you
correct.
know,
Or like a 2-year climb, 3-year climb to get out of debt.
or climb out of
Or-
debt. Yeah, yeah,
Right. Or to heal your marriage, because you can't
yep,
come to marriage therapy one weekend, so one conference and be like, okay, we're healed. Okay. So those are called steep climbs, long climbs. Okay. So here's the idea. Number one, they've chunked too big of a step. It's too big. So the concept of baby steps and maybe even mini steps. We talk about the grandma shuffle, we laugh about it, but that's real life. But number two, you're looking at the wrong side of the equation. So we got to climb, right? You're looking at this from this side. You're like, man, that's going to take a 2-year climb. Okay. And how I've trained my brain to do it is like, okay, that's 2 years of data. What can I do and what can I teach and how can I lead people if I have 2 years of data? And this is where I'm at. Like if I hit 240, I'll work out every day. I'll eat clean. I'll drop 7 or 10 pounds in 1 week. And then people go, well, yeah, so do I, but I bounce back. But then I can maintain because I know what to do. I can cut out bread. Just the other day we had sub sandwiches. Oh yeah, we were at the conference. We had a sub sandwich.
yep,
And I didn't eat the
yep.
bread because I'm on a climb right now. So I can be disciplined once I jump in, but then I lose focus like everybody else. I'm focused on other things. The next thing you know, I weigh and put on the scale. I'm like 240. What? How did I gain 15 pounds? Okay. And so that's everybody. But so for you specifically, you really have to get back down to that concept of not how long it's going to take, but think about how many wins I'm going to have. Now, let's just click into something different. So flow state. Jordan hit threes against Cleveland back in the day, and he broke a record. And I think Curry beat it, but it was like 7 threes in a game, and he ran by their bench like this. He was like, bruh, like I got nothing. And then in the interview, they're like, what were you thinking? What were you? He's like, dude, that's just it. I wasn't thinking. Okay, so everybody broke this whole concept. Like all these scientists was trying to figure out flow state. Flow state isn't the absence of thought. Flow state isn't the absence of behavior. Flow state isn't an out of body experience. Flow state is actually the reaping of that steep 2-year climb or that steep 10-year climb for Mike, whatever it was. So the flow state is this. Once I do repeated behaviors in the same order, this is why I talk about and I harness, what do you call it? Like repeat all the time.
Harp
Routine,
on.
routine, routine, harp on. There you go.
Yeah.
I harp on routine, 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 routine. Because if you put 4 steps together every day, every day, every day, every day, and the research shows 66 days is a habit. Okay. So now what happens is at that click, that first habit of 66 days, the brain will put these two together, put these two together. Like, I don't know if I can do that. Mork and Minnie. Hey, who said I'm old, bro? Who said I'm old? Old dogs learn new tricks. Let's go.
Isn't that Star Trek?
I don't know. Mork and Mindy, Star Trek. I don't know what it
Uh,
is.
I take it
Okay,
back.
but V for victory, baby. I win all
Oh,
day. No, just kidding. Okay, so look. So now I took 4 steps into 2 steps. Now let's say I keep climbing, and all of a sudden, then those 4 steps become 1 step. That's actually automated behavior, and now I'm in flow state. So think about this. We talk about golf all the time when somebody can curve a ball or bend a ball or draw a ball, kind of come around a tree and kind of dog leg left, whatever. In the beginning of that, there's so many steps you have to even think about. And then you get a pro or somebody who's maybe played college golf. They just step up, they just like loosen up, boom, and they just do it. They don't have to think about it because
yeah.
it's automated. Okay. And then now if you do a string of automated shots like that, they're in flow state and like, man, I played out of my mind. It's actually not true. They just reaped all of the continued habitual learning over the years or over their climb. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So like, well, you can juggle. I bet you if Stella just gave you 3 balls, you could juggle. Why? Because you
Just
spent
did
years doing it.
just did it the other day.
Okay. So those are things I pushed you to do as a kid. Like, hey, juggle would be good for your brain. Like years later, you can still do it. Why? Because you're still reaping the benefits. So for somebody who says, oh, this will be a 2-year climb and I just don't know if I got the work in me, like I can go hard for 7 days. I can go hard for 30 days. I can do a 90-day challenge. That's the wrong idea. The idea is, okay, after 90 days, how many nuggets of resilience do I get to put in my bag? At the end of my 2-year climb, how resilient will I be? And how many people can I turn back, like the Bible tells Peter to turn back and teach your brothers? Okay.
Yep.
And that's the piece you have to hang on to. So yes, your kids are worth it. You're worth it. Your wife's worth it, but you're just looking at the wrong side of the equation. You're
Okay.
looking at the work. You're looking at the work side, not at the reward side or what we call the reaping side.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Finish us with like, what do we do? Give us our takeaway. Our what's the steps? Some practical steps. What should we
So
do? What should
step
we do
number one.
tomorrow?
Yeah. So step number one, you wake up and you journal and you ask yourself this question: where do I recognize that I'm stuck? And if you're not stuck right now, where do I recognize that I'm slipping? Okay. So for most of you, I promise you it's snooze. And if you snooze, your brain kicks into a 90-minute cycle, and your brain focuses on 90-minute cycles. So if you wake up with your first alarm, your brain has 90 minutes now to get up to full speed. If you snooze and snooze and snooze and snooze, we've just told
Wife, are you hearing this, wife?
we just
You gonna put all my comments in there? You
okay,
snooze every day.
because now watch, I wake up and my brain has no idea what my game plan is. Is my game plan to go sleepy sleep mode, or is my game plan to jump up and be alert? I promise you, there'll become a day if you wake up every time on your first alarm where you'll beat your alarm. And I know it's weird, but I can't get up if I let my alarm ring and ring and ring and ring and ring, because I'll just eventually just sleep through it or hit snooze. I actually thrive on waking up before my alarm hits or right when it hits. And so that's number one. Okay. Wake up with your alarm. No snooze. Number two, journal and recognize where you're slipping. Number three, come up with one time of day where you can have more arousal, like coffee, tea, whatever, and then do something for planning or visual training or goal setting to that one reward or that one climb that you want to do. Okay. So like if I could restructure my day, I would go back and I would work out from 3 to 4 every day, because that's where my brain fogs up the most. Like that's have trouble there a little bit. So a lot of times I'll take some supplements, or I'll take a green tea, or I'll do something, grab a granola bar or something just to spark some kind of system, because otherwise I try to get droopy at 3. And I think it's because like so many years I grew up lifting weights at between 3 and 5, 3 and 6. So it's still hard for my brain to let go of that, like go do something. So I get a little anxious, jittery. But I would dial in, like, let's say if I had my full schedule, I would not try to write my book during 3 to 5. Okay. Does that make sense? Because I have to know my day. I have to know what's happening to me. Okay. So sleep's number one, your journal, your recognition number two, and then you work on a state of the day where I can try to increase arousal to either journal or write or do the activity that I want to do. Those are the 3 steps.
So for me, or so for you, you can't do the workout at 3 in the day. So you got to do it at night or in the morning.
Correct.
So then, let's say, I work 9 to 5, so I can't do that at 3. I can
Right.
get a coffee or something, but then, that's when you start pushing the morning routine.
Correct. And that's where I switched. So that's why I wake up early to do my writing, because my focus is better. I can fight through a workout after work. It's hard for me to fight through reports and papers and writing after work. My cognitive focus is down. So I do my cognitive stuff in the morning. I do my workout stuff at night. That's what I flipped.
Okay, so Alicia was awake. She said, so I commented and said, yeah, are you, I tagged her and said, are you hearing this? And she said, yes, but who still gets up and works out in the morning? Which is obviously her. But then she did ask a question. What if she sets an alarm? Oh, this is what she said. What if I set an early alarm to snooze on purpose, and then I know after 2 snoozes, I get up?
Yeah, but your brain doesn't know, because once you wake up,
even though she does that on a regular basis,
yeah,
it's still the same thing.
Yeah, this is no different than a person who sets their clock back 15 minutes or ahead 15 minutes, so they know they got a 15-minute window. You still know.
Dude, my car. No, it works though.
Bruh,
the other day, I was zooming to school because I thought Stella was late, and then I remembered. Oh, wait, that clock's not right.
Yeah, correct. But you still know. Your brain still knows. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can fool you for a moment, but once you hit awareness, your brain knows. Like, bro, that's not even the right time.
All right, yeah. So take that, wife. Snoozing your brain.
Look.
So wait, hold on. So if your brain sleeps for 90 minutes after the snooze ish, and she gets up 90 minutes before me to work out, but basically our brains are waking up at the same time.
If she got up and started doing work, yes. But since she reboots the workout, she's heightened alertness.
Yeah.
So she won't be on point right away, but she still accelerates faster than you.
Dumb.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm getting up tomorrow. Take that.
So here's what's funny. Here's
the reality of this. If you want change to happen, you just got to do the hard work.
Yes.
That's it.
If you want change to happen, it's you versus you. It's no one's going to do it. And this is what,
dude, I got a new bike.
David Goggins talks about this. He'll say, who is going to carry the boat, with a bunch of other explicitives. Okay. I'll say this. Yeah. Today. So 4:00, I wake up, I'm looking at getting up to do my prayer. I'm laying in bed, just laying there a little bit. And then I just kind of like look around, and I was like, Just thinking, okay, what if I slept till 4:30? Just a thought. And I literally thought it was maybe 30 seconds. And then a little bit later, I'm like, just do it, dude. Just get up. And I say this, nobody's coming to rescue you. That's my thing. Nobody's coming to rescue you. So I hop up and I look and it's 4:05. I was like, dang, that took 5 minutes. I was awake. I didn't fall asleep, but it's just that it goes so fast, right? But normally I pop up, but today was a little bit harder of a struggle. But here's the thing. You have to say this you versus you thing. What is that going to be? Like, nobody's coming. This is just me. Nobody's coming to rescue me, right? Cameron Hayes says, nobody cares. Work harder.
Yep.
This is when it comes down to that grind of that daily work. It's you versus you. Like, are you going to do it or you're not? Now you could play that one song where you're like, I'm gonna float your boat. Like back in the day when me and you used to dominate Halo.
Yeah. The old school.
Whatever it takes.
I need to start playing that. That high school. I think we talked about this on a couple of other podcasts, but that high school football team that's sitting in the locker room and they're like, "We ready?"
Yes.
I get jacked on that.
That's it.
That should be my alarm.
Yes.
Note to self.
Okay. Here's another quick thing for all y'all snoozers. So on your phone, if you have a smartphone, go to your alarm and actually give your alarm a name. Give your alarm a name.
Excuse me?
Softy, Weakling.
Why?
Scrub. Because when you go to hit snooze, you see scrub. Like, okay, so if I hit alarm, I got it.
My alarms are named like church morning with girls, school day.
No, you got to have an alarm to say who will carry the boat.
Scrub.
Nobody's going to rescue me.
All right,
2 times.
So here's where we're at. Recognition, number 1, intense attention on sleep, a stimulant in emotion.
Yes.
And behavior.
Yeah. And the last one is visual attention is your focus, right? Focus equals visual attention.
Yep.
So you focus hard on what you're doing. Remember we talked about tunnel vision.
Yep. And 3 things you need to do to move forward or refocus is don't snooze.
Yes.
Take a moment where you recognize where you're at and then also where you want to be.
And you have to journal it and you have to say it out loud.
By journal it, you mean just write it down. You don't mean like actually dear diary.
No. Write it down like date and time. Like I recognize that this is
whiteboard on a mirror somewhere. Sticky note.
Correct.
Okay. And
so write it down and say. So I write it down like, hey, on this date, I recognize that snooze is killing me. And then I look in the mirror and I'm gonna say, hey, Sanchez, snooze is freaking killing you.
Yep. And then the last one, find a stimulant or a time that you can get fired up to do whatever you're accomplishing. Like once again, we're not talking about only working out. That's just where I'm at. This is and so have a stimulant, write down your finances, get a cup of coffee, write a book, do whatever you
or like mom and I will use dark chocolate in the evening. Like if I'm doing writing or work or we got to sit down and do our bills or something, we'll just grab a handful of dark chocolate and just sip on it a little bit. Like
dude, those dark chocolate espresso beans, those things work.
Yeah, that would be good too. But we got to be careful with caffeine at night after dinner because then it suppresses your sleep hormones.
Yeah, that didn't work.
So then you're waking up groggy again. Yeah, very good.
And then at the end of the day, I mean, you just got to do it. Like, just stop being a baby.
Who will carry the boat?
Because that's where I'm at. Like, I know all this stuff.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
I've refocused like 52 times. You know what I'm saying? Like
you.
This is it. It's a constant, dude. It's just every day.
To be the old you or new you.
Every day.
I know it seems bad, but it's it. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, I didn't even hit the mic. I hit this point. Nate said, Tanya says I don't open my eyes to hit snooze. Neither do I. What? Especially with the iPhone, you just hit the button on the side. You don't even have to see
so listen to this. This is why so many kids
just do the boop.
This is why so many kids, like when I do an assessment, the first thing I ask a question is like, let me see what period, what classes do you have, what period? And I'm like, okay, what are your lowest grades? The lowest grade's always first period. And so I know right away who that kid is. Like, let me guess. You wake up, throw on sweatpants, throw them inside out, grab a Pop-Tart. You realize it's stale in the car, so you don't eat. You get the first period. You're trying to bum food off somebody. And they look at their mom and they're like, did you email him? I'm like, no, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Or there's the other kid, who wakes up, eats, got a routine, gets to school, ready to go. They dominate grades. And I know it's so hard for people, but you are your routine, period. End of story. Your daily habits make you. I'm fired up today, Lou. Let's go.
I'm about to go to bed. No. Auntie Cal said, I got a dog and I have never snoozed again. She gets me up at 7 a.m. every single morning.
Perfect. There you go. See, so that's arousal. Boom. She's already stimulated.
Okay, but here's the other thing. Here's what I told Alicia. So the mornings I get up, oh, my camera, hold on.
There, you're slipping. No more snoozing.
All right. So the mornings, this is the last thought.
Okay.
The mornings that I get up, here's the dumbest part about this whole thing, right?
Okay.
So the mornings I get up, do my 5 a.m. wake up, get my cup of coffee, do my morning devotion, do editing or video stuff for 45 minutes to an hour, work out for 45 minutes to an hour, get the girls up, go to school. I feel amazing. Like I love it. And then the next morning comes and my alarm goes off and I go, oh, dude, sleep would be so much better. And then if I get up, I go, dude, I love this. I'll literally tell Alicia, I don't know why I don't do this every day. But then every time it comes in the next morning, I go, dude, this is stupid.
So you just gave your answer. That's your answer. We just spent an hour to figure out your answer and it came in 1 minute.
Wait, is this whole show an intervention for me?
I don't know.
Did y'all just set this up on purpose? 32 people,
Alicia.
15 people watching, and Alicia, she's
They
still
hit,
up. I know
that
she's still up.
chat for you. Here's the deal.
I know she's still up.
You just gave your answer. So look, we just been talking about self-talk all the time. And we talk about this because it's important. So like if I'm your dad and I coach you and you walk by me,
you are my dad.
You just struck out. I'll be like, hey, good at bat. No matter what I say to you, your self-talk says, whatever, shut up. Or you come outside, mom's like, honey, you did amazing. You did amazing. You're like, mom, you never played baseball in your life. You wouldn't say that to her because you're not going to be disrespectful, but you say it inside your head. Your self-talk always shuts the door or opens the door. So when you just said, you work out, you do all your routine, you're like, never feel better. But then at bedtime, you're like, man, sleeping will feel so much better. So listen, shout out to Stone Cold, or what's it called? Cold Stone. the ice cream place that Valencia likes. Cold Stone.
Cold Stone.
So you like, not love, you like waking up early and hitting your routine, but you love sleeping in. You got to like it. You got to love it.
I love it.
So your self-talk says, hey, I like the routine. It's pretty dope.
But it's,
dude, sleeping in is fire. I love it.
Feels so
the difference. So listen, you can't lie to yourself. The Bible ain't a lie. You can't lie to yourself.
The devil's a liar. And it's the snooze button.
You can't lie.
All right. Mom said go to bed earlier. I like chilling at night though. So
yeah. Right.
All right. And then at least he said that is part of the problem. See, I told you she was up. I knew it.
To be honest with you, I can pass up sleeping in, but it is hard to go to bed early. That's me too.
Here's where I'm at. So like
it's hard.
You get up, you work, you take your girls to school, you pick them up, you work all day long, you come home, and as a parent, you don't get your own time because you're playing unicorns and Pegasus and watching Coco Melon, and then you're cooking, then you put the dishes away, then you get school ready, then you do baths, and you sit down at 9 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I want an hour or two by myself just to chill, read articles, watch videos, do whatever I want to do. Next thing I know, it's too late. Then I'm sleepy, tired, long blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so set an alarm so you can do that for 45 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Yeah, but we just went through why the alarms don't work. I just snooze them. At the end of the day, I just got to do it. I just got to do it. That's it.
Like it, love it.
This podcast is brought to you by Just Do It.
Yes, this podcast is brought to you by Eliza Sanchez.
Do it.
Yeah, you just got a point. It's just like.
All right. Anything else you got?
No, that's it. That's it.
Well,
the bottom. Okay, one more thing. The bottom line is keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep climbing, keep moving. Because then, based on that, you can ask questions, and we got data. We can always work with data. If you sit down, do nothing. 2 weeks from now, on our next talk, you still got nothing. 4 weeks from now, 4 years from now, you still got